It was believed that many aspects of a person's life were determined by three mythical women, known as the Fates. These were three sister goddesses believed to have spun out a child's destiny at birth. They determined when life began, when it ended, and everything in between. At the birth of a child, they appeared, spinning, measuring, and cutting the thread of life. It was Clotho, who would spin, Lausus, who would measure, and small but fierce Atropos, who would cut. Now, not everything was inflexible or predetermined. A man destined to become a great warrior one day could choose what he wanted to do on any other given day. And some held that the gods, especially Zeus, could simply intervene with decisions that could be helpful or harmful. Others held, on the contrary, that Zeus himself was subject to the Fates because they were not his children. They were the daughters of the great goddess Necessity, against whom even the gods cannot contend. Theseus swore that he could slay the monstrous Minotaur, but he failed to realize that no one had ever made his way out of the labyrinth alive. Yet, in his lover's hands, Ariadne, the daughter of Minos, held a ball of string given to her by Daedalus, the architect and designer of the impenetrable fortress. One need only the loose end of the thread tied to the labyrinth door, and the ball would unwind through the twisting pathways until it reached the center space in the middle. The Minotaur lives there, Ariadne said. He sleeps for exactly 1 hour and 24 at midnight, but then he sleeps sound. The 6 companions of Theseus kept guard at the entrance, while Ariadne tied the thread to the labyrinth door. Theseus entered. He held the unraveling thread in the darkness and came upon the sleeping Minotaur just after midnight. As the moon rose, he cut off the monster's head with a razor-sharp sword given to him by his father, King Aegeus of Athens. He then followed the thread back to the entrance and safely to the outside, where Ariadne and his friends were anxiously waiting. Penelope's husband, Odysseus, sails from the Trojan War, leaving his young wife alone with their infant son, Telemachus. 10 years pass, and as the war ends, the other heroes make their way home. But Odysseus remains unaccounted for, and most assume he is dead. Suitors arrive at Odysseus' palace, hoping to marry Penelope. When she refuses them, they lay siege, installing themselves in the palace, consuming the family stores, and harassing the household. As a woman alone, Penelope can only endure until her husband returns. Penelope tells the suitors that she will choose a new husband once she has finished weaving a shroud for her father-in-law. Every day she works on it, and every night she secretly unravels what she has done, knowing that the men won't have any idea how long it takes to weave a shroud, nor be able to judge how much progress is being made. And so, for 3 years, she holds them off, until one day Penelope's ruse is discovered, and the suitors demand a decision. Facing an intolerable future, she devises another pretext, an archery contest. She agrees to marry whoever could string Odysseus' bow and shoot an arrow through 12 axes. One by one, the suitors try their hand, but none could even string the bow, let alone shoot an arrow through the axes. At the door of the palace, a group of beggars wait for scraps of food from the kitchen. The suitors were amazed to see one of the beggars string the bow with ease and fire it all the way through the 12 axes. In a flash, the beggar then turns his weapon on the suitors and shoots them dead, one by one. Penelope looks at the carnage. Does this mean that I must now marry a beggar? I am no beggar, Odysseus says. I am your husband. beautiful work, it was said that the warp applied to be rays of sunlight, and the weft seemed to be threads of gold. Arachne often boasted of her skills. When news of her arrogance reached Athena, the goddess of wisdom and crafts, challenged Arachne to a contest to determine who could create the most magnificent tapestry. After many days and nights, Arachne proved her superior craftsmanship. Yet when Athena saw the subject of Arachne's work and her disrespectful depiction of the gods' amorous adventures, she flew into a rage, destroying Arachne's tapestry and loom. Then she touched Arachne's forehead 3 times, making sure that she felt guilt for her brazen attitude. Arachne's shame was overwhelming. It was far too deep for a mortal to bear. Terrified and in turmoil, she ran into a nearby wood and hanged herself from a tree. Taking pity on her, Athena loosened Arachne's noose, which transformed into a cobweb. Then the goddess said gently, "Spin if you wish to spin." For the rest of her life, Arachne was to hang from a thread and to be the great weaver in the form of a spider.